This was the first time Xiaoyan had ever heard that planes were also divided into ranks. It turned out that the Du Qi continent belonged to a high-level plane. If you enjoy my way of explaining and storytelling, don't forget to like and subscribe. It really motivates me to keep creating. Returning to the previous chapter, the timeline rewinds to several decades earlier. Within the Great Thousand World, in the vast and mysterious Western Heaven domain, lay an incomparably immense region, a boundless expanse that encompassed tens of thousands of continents. Countless civilizations thrived within this domain. Countless races rose and fell like dust in the river of time. Yet among all of them, 4 supreme bloodlines stood unshaken above the rest: the Strength God clan, the Blood God clan, the Luo God clan, and the Wind God clan. These were the 4 great god clans, ancient powers whose foundations were rooted deep in the very laws of heaven and earth. Their names alone were enough to inspire awe, fear, and reverence across the Western Heaven domain. Within the vast territory ruled by one of these titans, the Luo God clan, there existed a region situated close to the central continent of the Luo God clan, a land normally peaceful, dignified, and heavily guarded. But at this very moment, that calm was shattered. Countless figures stood frozen in place, their gazes lifted toward the heavens, eyes filled with shock and disbelief. High above the skies, the fabric of space itself was being forcibly torn apart. A pitch-black spatial rift slowly split open, its edges writhing like a living wound in the sky. Within only a few short breaths, the expanded violently, stretching until it became a colossal chasm, nearly 10,000 zhang long, as though the heavens had been cleaved in two by an invisible blade. A terrifying aura seeped out from within the rift. Then, a figure stepped forward. A young man clad in black robes emerged from the darkness, his movements calm and unhurried, as if crossing between worlds were no more than stepping over a threshold. Strapped across his back was a giant ruler, ancient and heavy, emanating a faint yet oppressive pressure that caused the surrounding space to subtly distort. The moment his foot landed upon this world, ripples spread through the air, and they themselves seemed to tremble. The young man was Xiaoyan. His gaze slowly swept across his surroundings, taking in the unfamiliar sky, the strange land, and the overwhelming presence of powers far beyond anything he had known before. Then, his pupils shrunk violently. A trace of shock flashed across his face. Slowly he raised his palm. Within it, a mass of crimson Du Qi began to gather, swirling restlessly like a flame on the verge of extinguishing itself. Yet even as it formed, Xiaoyan could feel it clearly. The Du Qi was no longer fully obeying him. It quivered, slipped, and began to quietly drift beyond his control, as if it were being drawn away by an unseen force, on the verge of transforming into something entirely different. A mass of reddish Du Qi gathered in his hand, yet it seemed to be quietly slipping out of his control, gradually transforming into another kind of energy. What is going on? Not good. Xiaoyan's expression changed drastically. With a sudden movement, he shot toward the distant horizon at full speed, vanishing from everyone's sight in an instant. Before his Du Qi completely lost control, he needed to find a desolate place to investigate the cause of the chaos within his body. Dao Qi was his strongest foundation. If he lost it, Xiaoyan feared he would be reduced to half a cripple. A figure streaked across the sky at a speed akin to tearing through void space. Xiaoyan carefully observed everything in this new world, his heart filled with shock. At his speed, even the vast Du Qi continent could be crossed in half an hour. Yet now, after flying for nearly an entire day, the distance he had traversed seemed to be only a corner of this world. I can't hold on much longer. Xiaoyan sensed the increasingly chaotic Dao Qi within him, which was transforming into a strange, unfamiliar energy. This energy possessed a kind of sentience and was far more powerful than the Du Qi cultivated on the Du Qi continent. What was even more terrifying was that, after the Du Qi transformed into this spiritual energy, it began to escape his control. Xiaoyan attempted to refine it, only to find it extremely difficult. Suddenly, a mountain peak over 100,000 jang tall appeared in his field of vision. At the same time, on a land tens of millions of miles away, an old man suddenly sensed something. His heart stirred, and those eyes etched with the marks of time slowly turned toward the distant sky. Someone is approaching Luogod Mountain. As soon as the words fell, the old man vanished instantly. Atop the towering mountain lay a vast plaza. At its center stood an enormous stone pillar. Xiaoyan was seated cross-legged within a formation, his condition looking extremely poor. Damn it! These energies are unbelievably hard to absorb. Could it be that decades of my cultivation will all be wasted? Xiaoyan murmured inwardly. The trials of the Do-Chi continent over dozens of years had forged an unyielding will. Even now he remained calm. A cold white flame suddenly rose in his hand. Bone-chilling flame. Immediately after, flames of various colors followed, rising one by one. In the blink of an eye, 22 heavenly flames surrounded Xiaoyan. At this moment, he had very little Du-Chi left to protect himself. His only remaining trump cards were these heavenly flames. If someone attacked now, his only option would be to detonate them. You little fellow. Who are you? You're not planning to blow up my Luo God clan's protective formation, are you? An aged voice suddenly rang out. Xiaoyan spun around sharply. A few jang away, an elderly man holding a cane had appeared at some unknown moment. The old man swept his gaze over Xiaoyan, then smiled. So you're from a lower plane, huh? Xiaoyan froze slightly. This was his first time hearing the term lower plane. Greetings, senior. I was merely passing through. Something went wrong within my body, so I borrowed this place to rest for a moment. The man had approached without Xiaoyan sensing anything at all. His strength was clearly unfathomable. I know. Those who come from lower planes all experience this. But the fact that you managed to expel that power from your body truly surprised me. The old man glanced at the red energy drifting around. Xiaoyan realized this was likely due to the heavenly flames. They had expelled the out-of-control energy for him. Senior, when you said, people like us, do you mean there are many others who came from different worlds like me? The old man smiled. Did you think lower plane referred only to your world? Planes like yours are countless among the lower planes. They are divided into low, mid, high, and super-grade planes. The higher the plane, the rarer it is, and those who break through a plane's shackles will be stronger. With your current strength, you should only be born in a high-level plane. Hearing this, Xiaoyan recalled the young man he had encountered in the plane passage. Their auras were similar. He was clearly from another high-level plane as well. Senior, how do others usually deal with this situation? Xiaoyan asked. The old man walked over and gently placed a hand on Xiaoyan's shoulder. A strange fluctuation surged into Xiaoyan's body, and his chaotic dantian gradually calmed. Buzz. Xiaoyan clearly felt the remaining Do-Chi within him, accelerating its transformation into spiritual power. So this is spiritual power. It was also the first time Xiaoyan had heard this term. This world clearly cultivated a power similar to Do-Chi, yet far stronger. Senior, can you help me complete the assimilation? Xiaoyan asked. The old man moved behind him and said kindly, It seems fate has brought us together today. I'll help you finish this spiritual power assimilation. If we don't hurry, the spiritual power you released will soon escape completely. Raising his right hand, an unfathomable force poured into Xiaoyan's body. Are you ready? Use the same cultivation method, but reverse the direction completely. Next, I will draw all the spiritual power within 1,000 miles here. How much you can absorb will depend on your own fortune. Joy instantly appeared on Xiaoyan's face. He took a deep breath and steadied his mind. With a wave of the old man's sleeve, the spiritual power of heaven and earth erupted violently. Here it comes. Boundless spiritual power surged violently toward the summit of Luogod Mountain, like an endless tidal wave roaring across heaven and earth. The very sky seemed to darken as the wind howled. Clouds churned and twisted, forming enormous vortices, while streams of translucent energy poured down from all directions. drawn as if by an irresistible force toward the lone figure seated upon the mountain peak. The vast plaza trembled. The ancient stone pillar let out a deep, resonant hum, as if even the mountain itself were responding to the awakening of this power. Xiaoyan's expression turned solemn. He could feel it clearly now. This spiritual power was nothing like Do Qi. It was purer, denser, and filled with a faint yet unmistakable sentience, as though it possessed a will of its own. Every strand of energy that rushed toward him carried terrifying pressure, enough to crush an ordinary cultivator into dust. Remember, the old man's calm voice echoed amid the raging winds, clear and steady, cutting through the chaos like a divine bell. This energy may be unfamiliar to you, he said slowly, but you must not reject it. Do not fear it. Do not resist it. Treat it as Do Qi, and devour it, refine it, and make it your own, by circulating it in the completely opposite direction. As his words fell, the torrents of spiritual power surged even more fiercely, crashing down upon Xiaoyan like an ocean descending from the heavens. Xiaoyan clenched his teeth. At that moment, the last remnants of Do Qi within his body were trembling, teetering on the edge of complete collapse. Yet instead of panicking, his eyes burned with fierce resolve. He slowly closed them. His cultivation method began to turn, reversing its flow. In an instant, pain erupted throughout his meridians, as if his entire body were being torn apart and rebuilt at the same time. But amid the agony, a strange clarity emerged. The runaway energy that once resisted him now began to yield, melding into his body, transforming into true spiritual power. High above, the old man watched quietly. A hint of approval flashed through his aged eyes. As the storm of energy continued to pour downward, his figure gradually lifted into the air, rising step by step as if ascending an invisible stairway. "I won't stay any longer," he said calmly. "I ask only one thing. Once you finish refining this spiritual power, leave Luo God Mountain as soon as possible. This place is not one where a newcomer should linger. Junior Xiaoyan has yet to learn Senior's honored name." Xiaoyan's voice rang out from below, carried by the surging wind and boundless energy. The old man paused. He turned slightly, nodding once. His body began to blur, then slowly dissolve into the void itself, as though he were merging with the fabric of heaven and earth. Only a faint chuckle echoed across the mountain peak, lingering long after his figure vanished. Luo Tiansen, that's all for today's content. See you in the next part. Support me by becoming a member. It will give me more motivation. Thank you so much.